live.
Good evening. It is Monday. It is Retro Gaming Revival Live. It's going to be our Uncensored this evening. It's a bit like we're doing a mod cons, really, because it's the three of us. Dorbs was going to be making a return this evening, but unfortunately, I think he has had a trouser accident. So, Dorbs, I hope everything is good. He's in the chat. Exactly, yes. Welfare check on Dorbs, everyone. Everyone send Dorbs some love. Excellent. So how are you both? You both good?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, it's melting. That's why I thought I put a fiery background on to see as a recognition of the heat we're in.
It's it's taken you to Outworld. The
Indeed.
Heat. Excellent. It's nice to have a summer all of a sudden, anyway, isn't it? It's nice to have a little summer. We'll see how that goes. So let's see who we've got in the chat this evening. We have got Mr. Rob Taylor. Mr. Matey, is always good to see you, good sir. Barry Chuckle from Beyond the Grave, apparently. Mr. Ryan, how are we doing, Mr. Ryan? It's always wonderful to see you there. Hopefully we'll have you back on soon as well.
Middle-aged gamer as well.
Mag. Let's go. Let's go. Can't wait to hear what Mag's got coming up later in the year. Very exciting. We have Mr. Dorbs is there as well. I see Dorbs creeping in there.
Yeah, Pixel Gamer.
We do. We have Mr. Enrico, Mr. Pixel Gamer. Hello there, sir. How are you doing this evening? Excellent. We have some great people in the chat. Hopefully a few more people will come in as we go. Excellent. So we may as well kick off with our first topic, which is generally a mod cons topic as well. So let's kick it off. What have you guys been playing at the moment? What have you been playing? Let's start with Mr. Blunners. What are you playing at the minute, good sir?
So I've been playing Bomb Rush Cyberpunk on the Nintendo Switch.
Nice.
Basically, it's a callback to Jet Set Radio or Jet Grind Radio if you're American. Cel-shaded graphics, going around on skateboard, going around on bike, BMX, going around on skates, doing your grinds, doing your moves. Also, it's like it's just amazing. It's such a reminisce back to that time. It's got a good little story on it as well. It's completely independent, an independent title done by a team called Reptile, and that's not the only thing I've been playing though. So because I've been getting a bit jealous, Ryan going on about his Steam Deck. So I got my Steam Deck out, and I've been playing Alliance Awakening on it.
Nice.
Picked up for £4. So
good deal.
So I'm only about an hour and a bit into that, trying to work out what you got to do. And the other game I've been playing is the one that's coming out on the Evercade recently. Is it the Dungeon? What was it? One we saw on the trailer the other week.
Yes, I can't think what the name of it is, but I vividly remember us talking about it. It was so good, I can't remember the name.
Is that the one, the dual car, where one's a roguelike?
Yeah, it's a dual car. But I can have a look in a minute. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I just downloaded the demo on that to see what it was like. But Full Void is already on the Steam Deck, so rather than having to wait.
Oh, is it?
It's Evercade, it's already on there for £12, I think. So it's already on there. So I might be picking that up as well.
Excellent stuff. Mr. Rob Taylor's thrown it in there. Sniper Elite on the PS5. Are the Sniper Elite games good? I'm always
I've never
terrible at
played them.
sniper levels. So yeah, Rob, what's it like? What's the Sniper Elite series like? Because I see a lot of people seem to quite like it. So yeah, I'm terrible at sniping games though. Absolutely dreadful. Excellent. That seems like quite a nice little selection of games there, Mr. Blunters. You've got some good stuff going on. And Mr. Tim, what are you currently playing?
Well, I'm kind of in the limbo at the moment between games. So I finished playing. What's I playing? I finished playing Spider-Man, and also finished Hours Awakening, and I finished another game I was playing. So I've kind of like wrapped up a lot of games. I'm just like dipping in and out of stuff. So at the moment, I've mostly been playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So still haven't got the triple stars on gold on the mirror tracks. I've done up to 150. I'm trying to get them all done on mirror, and then I'm going to do the 200. And I've just been really unfortunate because there's so many times I'll be like on the 4th race of the cup on my final lap, and then I'll get like hit by a bunch of stuff, and then I end up in like 2nd or 3rd, and I'm like all really close, and then I have to do it all over again. So I've been kind of getting a bit frustrated with Mario Kart because I used to be really good at that, and now I seem to have lost my edge and keep on like coming in 3rd or 5th, but like and one, and then having to start over. I think
That's exactly it. Yeah,
I love to play Mario Kart. You guys, do you know what? When I used to play Mario Kart Wii, I always used to pick the same character, the same car, because I used to have the Concerto, I think it's called, with Toad, so medium-sized character, and there's a car with really good handling. And I think I just haven't found the car that's got the right combination of like acceleration, speed, and handling for me. I'm just experimenting with cars and stuff, but yeah, I'm definitely not as good as I used to be. I'm really struggling with it. Oh yeah, what's it called? What's it called, Blunters?
Sorry, I was on mute. Demons of Azkaban, it's called.
Ah, there you go.
Demons of Azkaban.
Indeed, the new Mortal Kombat has been leaked, and it is me.
Is it Mortal Kombat Tim? Tim is going to be
a
unlockable character in Mortal Kombat 1, and he will do the triangle face finisher. You wait until you see that fatality.
Fantastic.
The triangle. Oh, nice, yeah. Yeah, so I played the first one because I got the trilogy, so I played through the first one, and I thought I'd have a break before I played the second, rather than playing back-to-back games. So I could get back to that. So yeah, it brings me back to saying I need to pick what is my next game going to be. I feel like I might kind of go back to Hogwarts Legacy and do that. Is what I'm thinking. But the other game I played recently was a game called Land's End on the VR. It's a game. It was a really cheap game I bought years ago. It was one of the first VR games we got back when I had the Samsung Gear VR.
Yeah,
and I think there must have been an update with Oculus. So Oculus has had an update. So notice some third-party stuff I've had now is like it doesn't let you load it. This is like basically tells you off for having a license apps on there. So I better delete that before they lock my account. The other thing it has on there now is previously downloaded stuff through the Samsung store that I had on my phone years ago is now available to download. So I re-downloaded Land's End and played through that. And the fun thing with that is there's no buttons. It's just based on where you're looking. So you have like a little dot in the middle of the screen. So you can have no controls in your hand. You've got free, as long as you can turn around in a full 360. You just basically follow this dot and look at these different points on the map that kind of solve a puzzle, and then he automatically walks to the next area. So I went through and played it. It's quite a short game, quite easy, but just quite fun just to be in a VR space and walk around.
Yeah.
Been playing that.
Excellent stuff. I've had a really good start of September. Well, only 4 days into September, aren't we? Really, the tail end of August and the beginning of September has been really decent for games, actually. So I have finished. I gave up doing the side quests because I thought, look, I'm just never going to actually get this finished if I keep doing the side quests. And I was getting a tad bored of the side quests in this one, but the story is fantastic. But I finally finished Final Fantasy 16, Dobbs' favorite. That was really good.
How many hours?
70, I want to say.
Wow.
I've still not done everything because there's still some side quests that I want to go back. There's some monsters that I want to go and finish. So yeah, we're getting there. I will go back to that and do all the other bits, but the main story is finished. The main story is very cool. So anyone that's a Final Fantasy fan, or not a Final Fantasy fan for that matter, dive on that. I've spent a few.
Well, I think. Sorry, I was just reading that comment thing. I think my fatality might have to. Well, maybe my friendship involves baked beans. You do a friendship, I'll just hand you a can of baked beans. There you go. I just wanted to acknowledge Ryan's comment as well, because I did indeed lose the Street Fighter tournament at its birthday on the final round. Someone who was spamming the 100 hand slap the Honda, and I was find it. So I was Bison. It turns out I thought, I'll do the slow slide kick, or I'll jump over it and land on his head with the stomp, or I'll do like the Psycho Crusher to power through it. None of that works. You cannot get past 100 hand slap with Bison. He's not the best character. If I was like someone like Ryo or Ken, I would have been able to do like Fireball or something, but there was no way I could get close to him as Bison. So I did win a round, but then the final round he just got me. It's like, no, that's it. But he just kept just going slap. I just couldn't get past him. I was like, oh, that's me done then. But as far as he claimed, he was a novice. He'd not really played it before, so don't know how true that is. I think he was a secret expert.
I think that could be that if Retro Faith was on, that would almost be like traumatic post-traumatic stress for her, because when she was at OLL this year, someone did a similar thing with the Chung Li kick, and just beat her in a fight there, and you're like, oh man, savage, absolutely.
It's difficult. So like you spend all the time learning the moves, learning the combos and stuff, and then you play against someone who's never played before, who's button bashes and beats you. Like what? But it happens. It happens a lot. Like when these happen to me a lot on Soul Calibur, like things like that. Because like you can learn a few handful of moves. You go and play someone who's never played it before. They just keep on tapping like triangle, and all of a sudden they killed you. Like okay, great. I just wasted lots of time learning how to play a game.
Never mind. That's Dorbs' snooze comment to Final Fantasy. Clearly, I have also put a few hours into Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which, if you like the Friday the 13th multiplayer game, you will really like this. There's a few extra mechanics in this one. You actually get to pick whether or not you're going to be the family or the victims, which is a better deal in my opinion. You actually get to decide whether you want to, chase or be chased, which is kind of cool. Graphics are phenomenal. Really good fun. It's a really good fun. Oh dear, don't mention the Amico. It's it's like
it's an uncensored. We can mention whatever we want.
It's a good point.
I will be getting the game that comes out on Steam Deck. Him saying that I will be getting that game.
Yeah,
on Steam Deck.
Interesting.
So, it comes out in October, doesn't it? Astro Smash.
Do you know how much it's going to be? How much is it?
I don't know. It won't be a lot, will it? But that Texas Chainsaw game, Ollie. So it's just like an online multiplayer. You're either the family, the victims, or you're Leatherface, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. So there's three family and against 4 victims. The family can't be killed, but you can stun them and stop them. And as the family, you just have to hunt the other players and kill them by setting traps or blocking doors and that kind of thing. And the victims have to complete a selection of tasks to then escape from the family. It's quite fair, depending upon which team you are. A lot of it just comes down to how well you know the map and the level, and also whether or not the people you're playing with want to actually play it as a team, or whether they just kind of want to just run around and cut people's limbs off or something. So I'm enjoying it. It's good fun. When you sort of sit there sometimes and you think, it's I've only got half an hour to play something. I'll just stick that on and play that for 20 minutes, get a couple of rounds in, get a kick out of it, and on we go. Yeah, really good fun. I'd highly recommend that. And I think it's cross-platform as well, which is great. I finally started Blade Runner Enhanced Edition, which I've had sat on the shelf now for a little while. I've been so looking forward to this. I've avoided all the reviews and everything. And then after I played it for about an hour, I went to the reviews to see whether I was alone in my thoughts. The game plays brilliantly as it did on the old PC, but the enhanced version looks terrible. It looks really bad. I put it on the old PC version actually and just play it with the pixels. So I don't know why it's been called the enhanced edition. I kind of feel like they've done it a dirty there. But yeah, point and click adventure for anyone that likes point and click stuff. Got to get Blade Runner Enhanced Edition. And then 2 games I have picked up this month with some game points. One I never got round to playing, so I'm really looking forward to this. It's Shadow of Mordor. Never got around to playing that. Yeah. And then there's Shadow of War after that. All I hear is good things. And the other one, now that I'm getting into a slightly better headspace, is Plague Tale Requiem. The first one is so melancholy and very, very depressing. It's like an alternative take on the Plague, where the rats are kind of almost like mutated, and it's a little bit fantastical, but it's really serious. Like, it just takes itself deadly serious. And that first game was just it's heavy, really, really heavy. And yeah, where I've been at the minute, going into that was like, nah, I can't do that. That's going to finish me off, I think. So yeah, very much looking forward to that game as well. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. There's lots of people chatting in the chat as well. Excellent stuff. It's wonderful to see everybody chatting away there. Okay, so next topic is the Atari 2600 Plus. So I think we've touched on this on a previous stream. So correct me if I am wrong, anyone here or in the chat. The Atari 2600 Plus is effectively an HDMI Atari 2600 that you can put cartridges in. And I'm presuming it's going to have some sort of access to an Atari store or something. Is that right?
I can't say I've looked into it, to be honest, because I can't get excited about Atari games. It's just not even on my radar, to be honest. I've got I did really try to because I bought the Evercade Founders Pack when it first came out, and that had Atari 1 on it. And there's a few Atari games in there. It's I can play Space Invaders or Centipede and stuff, and pick and play that a little bit. But I tried playing a few of the other Atari games, just couldn't get into it. So when there's there's that Atari, was it 50th anniversary collection game as well? But look, actually, if you're into Atari games, it's great. You get a huge collection and stuff. But I don't know, I just can't get excited about Atari games.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's
it is, isn't it?
No, go on, Blanners. You jump in. I think there's a slight delay, but you jump in.
So I was just saying. Story of my life. The Atari it's exactly what you just said. They got their own store. You can play your old cartridges on it. HDMI out as well. So a bit like Triangle Face is not really for me, but I do like the fact they are bringing it back. I love the look of that console. I mean, it just reminds me of the 80s. So yeah, hopefully it does well. I just really hope it comes out well and people mod it, and then you can see all kinds of stuff running and playing on it. So that's when it might be worth looking into.
I'm sure there'll be some people that will enjoy it. It's a good idea. I think I'm a big fan of all these mini consoles coming out, and if you can play original cartridges on it, that's great. I think it'll be a good thing to get out there that people enjoy. But again, I didn't grow up playing Atari games, so I just don't have a nostalgia for it. I had a BBC Micro. I would imagine it's probably the same sort of standard of games on that, but I didn't really play anything. I only really got massively into games around the Mega Drive sort of time. So I've got I picked up a Commodore 64 Mini, and I don't really play it. I played a few of the games, just couldn't get into them. But then I picked up the Amiga Mini, and that is brilliant. I played on that quite a bit. So I think it's just that generation. I think Atari for me is just a little bit too far back on console generations for me to really get excited about the games.
Yeah, I think because you can get, maybe unless you've got a plethora of Atari carts already, maybe this might not speak to anybody, because you've got, like you said, the Atari 50th anniversary collection. You've got Atari 1 and 2 on Evercade. You've got Atari on everything. You've got Atari on PS2, PS3. I'm sure there's a collection on the PSP and Xbox One and 360. It's it is every console imaginable has an Atari collection. I'm almost certain of it. So I'd say unless you've probably got some carts that you want to play on original, well, it's not even original hardware, is it? But if you want to play it on Atari hardware that's sort of geared up for a modern telly, then I don't know. Is this going to speak to you? I don't know if it speaks to me. I quite fancied a while back that Atari VCS. Was that what it was called? They did their digital only new modern system, and I quite got a little bit into that. There was a couple of games on it. There was a samurai game and a couple of other games that I thought they actually looked quite good, and they were going to be Atari exclusives. There was no way we were going to be able to get them on other systems, and I thought, bugger, okay, well, let's have a look and see what happens with this system then. And it seems to have died a death. I know a lot of people used it to play Stadia, so Google Stadia, so they were able to play Cyberpunk on it and that kind of thing. And you're like, that's pretty cool. But it just, I don't see anyone talking about the VCS anymore. So I don't know if anyone in the chat ever dived in on the Atari VCS and has anything they can enlighten me about. But that was the closest I came to getting a newer Atari console for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ollie. It has. I haven't heard nothing on that VCS at all. But it's a bit of a shame, really. But like Ryan's put here, I was surprised to see Evercade promoting it on their social media. So Evercade were promoting Atari, the Atari T600, on their own social media, which is kind of unheard of. But because obviously you can get most of them games in some of them in Evercade carts as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, anyone in the chat? I know possibly Pete Snestastic. I don't know if I can't remember if he was sort of into Atari. I know Scott Marathon Gamers in the chat. I know he's got some Atari games, so maybe it's, I don't know. Like Scott, does it appeal to you? Is it something that you think you would get on or not? I just don't know. It's one of those weird systems because everyone always talks about being able to play maybe their Super Nintendo cartridges or their N64 cartridges or something on a new thing. Nothing about this Plus.
So yeah, so I love the Atari. Also, most thought I was brought up on Atari games. This is great news for me. So there's some love for the Atari.
Okay,
I've got some for that.
Excellent. So we might just have to live vicariously through Mag.
Max, yeah. There's a VCS game coming out later this month
called Days of Doom. Excellent. Well, I like the title of that.
Okay, question for you then, because I do like these mini consoles. If they could bring, what mini console would you like to see come out that doesn't exist yet? What system would you like to see as a mini console?
Oh,
CD32 for me.
Really?
I'm not
like
even saying that. I love it. I love the CD32. It's because it's so expensive to pick up now. I had one back as a kid. It was my first CD player, and then to my life, I don't know where it is. I've searched my parents' loft, like I just don't know where it is. And until I looked up to get a new one, I'm looking at 350, 400 plus. So I remember playing Cannon Fodder, all them games on it. Had the magazines, had the demos as well. So I would love them to bring out, and obviously to play John Barnes, the best football game ever made. So I'd wait for that. That would be mine straight away.
Well, you'll be in a good company there, Mr. Daubs, right there with you. Great pick, all over that. Okay. Do you know what? I don't know. I would be tempted to say the N64 because that's probably the one that I have most nostalgia for, purely because that's the sort of one where I was, early teens and really enjoying gaming pretty like a huge amount. You sort of elevated a little bit when you got to PS1 and N64 in terms of the games that you played. So I'd maybe the N64. It's difficult to emulate, so getting a good emulation of a game on an N64 just never quite cuts it. So to be able to have an N64, Mr. Nick Craddock there, N64 GoldenEye, exactly. To be able to play like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie even, because Banjo-Tooie is such an expensive game now. Maybe a bit of Conker's Bad Fur Day as well, which I know Blunners has got there. Son of a bitch.
I would love this as well. The BBC Micro Mini. Because do you know what? I don't know. I'd imagine my parents must have got rid of all of our BBC Micro cassettes, but I would love to have just one day just get a box out of the loft and find out they're all still there. But I think the BBC Micro we had did die, but I don't know what happens to all the cassettes. I'd imagine they got rid of them at a car boot sale or something. But if they ever did find them, I'd be like, right, I'm going to go hunting for a BBC Micro and dust it off and see what I can do. But I'd love to play some of those games again because they were great. What were they? I don't know. I remember having fun playing them. If they go back and play them now, are they going to be terrible? Because they were
possibly.
Possibly. That's the thing. So I don't remember what some of them were called because I find it really hard to look them up. So I don't remember what the games were called. I know that I had one where you had to go through like a maze and the walls were like electrified. So if you touched a wall, you would die. And if you were in the room for too long, a ghost would come along and kill you. So you had to kind of get around the maze quickly, and otherwise a ghost would come along. And then I remember another game which was like the original Mario Brothers with the power box in the middle, but it went up and up and up, and as the entire game was just like a single player Mario Brothers with the pipes and everything, but it wasn't Mario themed.
I
don't again have no idea what it's called. So, but I was going to say I would really like to see it. And again, it's another one that's hard to emulate. Atari Jaguar Mini. I never really played that. I've got a few emulators that got Atari Jaguar on there.
Jaguar is rubbish.
But I think the Atari Jaguar
says.
emulators that I've seen, all the games that appeal to me are games that are also on other systems. It didn't really have many exclusive titles on it, did it? The Jaguar. I don't think it really had many games that were exclusive to Jaguar. I just found they're on other systems already, so never really.
It had AVP. That was meant to be a really good version of Alien versus Predator. And it had that really awful flying game with that character that would appear if you flew off track. And where did you learn to fly?
So I think the Mini I'd like to see be a Sega Saturn Mini, because again, it's hard to emulate. So they brought a Mini. It'll be nice to have like a nice interface for it where it worked properly. And I never had a Sega Saturn, and I don't think I played any Sega Saturn games apart from the old one here and there. So it'd be really nice to actually get stuck in some of those, because it'd be a new experience playing through those.
I like Tolk's comment there. Mortal Timbat. I mean, that
Mortal
is
Timbat, yeah.
That's
we were saying earlier, if you missed, we said my friendship was handing over a tin of baked beans. If I do friendship.
Actually,
do they still do friendships in Mortal Kombat? I've been out of touch. They do friendships still, yeah?
They absolutely do. Yes, they absolutely do.
So I'd hand over a can of beans. There you go.
Just while Rampage Tolk is there in the chat, people head on over to Mr. Tolk's channel. He has been nominated for. There he is. He's been nominated for YouTuber of the Month. His channel is absolutely fucking bananas. Just go into it and just have fun, because that's exactly what he does. Tolk's a really, really funny guy. He's a really genuine guy as well. I love it when we get to meet up with him at some conventions. So please go and head on over to his channel. You'll be able to see there how to get Tolk nominated. There we go. Mr. Scott on there as well. Vote for Rampage Tolk for YouTuber of the Month. There will be some official endorsements coming from us at some point as well. So yes, do head on over, get him all sorted out, and we'll make this happen. Come on. Just imagine what would happen. I can just see what's going to happen if Tolk wins YouTuber of the Month and then takes over as YouTuber of the Year. The carnage that would bring with it is, oh my God, yes. So yes, let's all go vote, Mr. Tolk for YouTuber of the Month. It makes sense. Let's do this. Okie dokie. Shall we go on to another topic? Shall we do another physical related topic before we do some of the other ones that people have asked us to talk about? So let's go with this one, because this is a bit controversial. The PlayStation Portal. Let's go the other way around. Let's start with Tim. What do you think of the PlayStation Portal?
So, let's just confirm what this is. It is an actual device, and you can stream from your PS5 to the device, but it's not a handheld that you can take away, that you can actually get any access to your stuff via cloud.
Well,
it is just a...
Technically, yes. If you had really good internet somewhere and your PlayStation was in standby mode in another country, then yes,
in theory you can connect onto it. So the price point is very high. And I've got one of those controllers, which is a Bluetooth controller that has a gap in the middle. You can adjust it and open it and close it, and you can fit a tablet or a phone in there. And I've used that for gaming. You can turn it's about $199, isn't it? It's like nearly 200 quid. So you can stick your phone into the device, turn it into a handheld. And I've got a Google Pixel. It's a nice screen. I can play games on that. Why is this not just an app? I can play Xbox games on my phone. Obviously not all of them, but you can get to the Xbox a lot. The Xbox Game Pass app down. Get a couple of games on there, and then stick it in like one of these controllers, which are inexpensive. I think that was probably like 20 quid for one of these controllers, which are brilliant, by the way. I'd recommend getting one. And it's your phone sits in its Bluetooth, and you can play that. So for about 20 quid, I was able to play some of my Game Pass games on my phone as if it was a mobile handheld device. I don't want to pay 200 quid for the same sort of experience. It might be a very nice controller, it might be a very nice screen, but at 200 quid, I'd much rather, that I'd be looking at buying something like a Switch. Wouldn't be buying that. It doesn't appeal to me, to be honest. I've got a Switch already, so I'd much rather play that if I'm playing a handheld game, or I've got Evercade or RetroPie pockets and things like that. I'm not looking for a new handheld, so yeah, it doesn't appeal to me.
Okay. Yeah. There's lots of people in the comments agreeing with you. I think the price point is the real kicker.
Yeah.
Mr. Blunners, PlayStation Portal. How do you feel?
Nothing wrong with one of these, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
good.
Like the fact that you can't just take one of these around, I think that's what kills it. The price point, and the fact that it's like is it only like in your household or on your Wi-Fi? I heard. So
I think it's.
Well,
I think
yeah,
it's
that's what we're just saying.
I think it's across any Wi-Fi as long as it's good. I think if
Yeah.
you were just to go to like your average hotel or stay in something like a travel lodge where the internet
which is
is
where
just
you're going to get
awful.
most use out of it, really, isn't it? That's where you
Yeah.
get, or unless you have to tether from your phone if you get 5G, I think that's probably your best bet. It's if that was the case, then it's a bit too soon. Once the infrastructure of 5G is out, then maybe you'd get more use out of it. Like I understand maybe it's the screen and the technology in there that's costing you this 200 quid, but it's a shame because I think they're missing something there. They are missing. Like you drop that down to between 120, 150 price, and make it more accessible. Even if it has an online store and you can just download games off your store that you can just play, that you don't have to be connected to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Then do you know what I mean? Like ching ching, you're in. Like whereas no, we'll just make it Wi-Fi. Like, it's crazy. It's like it's nuts. Why can't you just have like you can log into your PlayStation, download it, download 1 or 2 games, or have extendable storage, and they're just missing. It's so like you. Is it like they're trying to just like get into that Switch market of well, I can play it while the missus is on the TV kind of thing. Like it's frustrating because like I like Sony's products. I do like a lot of their stuff. I just think they're just being stupid on this one, and they are really missing out on something. Even if it was like, even if you could only download one game at a time or something. Do you know what I mean? I know so many people that play FIFA, just be able to play FIFA wherever the hell they want, downloaded wherever, just connect to like the Wi-Fi so that they can do their transactions. They would make a killing, but instead they're pricing people out.
You mentioned the thing about like you want to play the game while someone else is using the TV. You kind of had that with the Wii U, and I can remember a few times I was playing something like Super Smash Brothers, but other people want to watch the telly, so then the TV would be on. I'd still have the Wii U on, and I'd just be playing from the tablet, and I'd just about reached the bedroom if I went upstairs and like sat up in bed and played on the Wii U tablet. I probably did that a handful of times. I reckon maybe 3 or 4 times I did that. So it's not something that I think I was really looking to do a lot. Like the option was there and it was novel, but again, if I wanted to do some gaming, I'd probably just wait until I've got access to the big TV and play on the console.
It's such an odd thing because when I saw it, I thought, I don't know. And then it was this idea of basically exactly like you said there, Tim, being able to access my PlayStation via this sort of device. And I thought, okay, well, there's a high possibility that I would actually get use out of that because frequently when I go away, yes, I'll take my Switch with me or my Evercade or something like that. But normally when I'm doing that, I'm not normally in a Switch game at that point. I'm always playing a PlayStation game. There's always something to play on my PlayStation. Whereas I tend to go through phases with my Switch where I play it absolutely incessantly and then I won't touch it for months. And so to be able to play, something like, God of War Ragnarok or, Final Fantasy 16 while I'm away on my PlayStation, that was a really cool idea. I really liked it. But like Daub said, I was super into the idea after a while until the price point came out. And then it was like, no, 200 quid is way too much money. And I think SNEStastic sums it up there. The PS5, if you want all the PlayStation gear now, so you want to have a PS5 console, you want a PSVR 2, you're going to want to have a PlayStation Portal. And then, like he says, the games are also 70, like the high-end games are 70 quid a pop as well. It's like, it's expensive. It's really expensive. If it was £100, I would probably do it. I'll say that right now. If it was £100, I mean, it just looks like a PS5 controller, don't it, with the fucking screen in the middle. I bet that screen's lovely. But yeah, if it was £100, I would drop £100 on that, 100%, because I would get use out of that in the home. I was in the sort of other end of the spectrum to Tim when I had the Wii U. I did use tablet mode a lot. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I can see that coming down in price. I mean, when does it come out? Is it October or something, or is it later?
I think it is October.
Yeah, well, I've not really been fussed by it. I've seen some pictures of it. I thought, meh, I've not really looked into it to find out dates and stuff and, specs and limitations of it. But nah, just not excited about it.
Yeah. If I can see that coming down to maybe 150 at Christmas, because I don't think it's going to shift units. And
Would it be £300 originally? Jesus. I mean, how much does a Steam Deck? How much does a Steam Deck go for?
What, like
Well, I got mine for about 420, but I got mine for about 420. But basically, with the Steam Deck, I can just put that into desktop mode. Like you saw, I'd streamed. It's basically turned into a PC, and I could do stream my own games and everything from it. So that was about 420, and that was for the base model. There's 3 different models on Steam Deck, but I just went for the cheapest one.
We've got just seen there. We have got Mr. Goldtooth in the house. Any excuse to play this. This doesn't come out enough. We're gonna need to get you to record us a new one, Mr. Goldtooth. So for everyone in the chat, here we go.
Sometimes I just pray for gaming. Sometimes I just pray for soul. Sometimes I just pray to the gods of retro gaming revival. And no one can save me now but you. Goof!
Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
I do love that. It still makes me chuckle. Whenever I'm just in one of those moods, Goldtooth brings me right out of that. Wonderful to see you, Mr. Tooth. Wonderful to see you. So I think we're all in agreement then that the PS Portal is an interesting idea, but it's not an interesting price.
And actually, Stacey makes a good comment as well. Not only that, but you need to have the PS5, right? So you've not got. It's an add-on. It's not a console in its own right. So actually, you're looking at a much higher price point. So if you've not got either, you haven't got a PS5. I think you'd go for a Steam Deck at that point, wouldn't you? You wouldn't go get a PS5 and then the Portal. It's just a lot, isn't it?
It is a lot. It is a lot.
It's like I would like to upgrade my VR. I'd love to get the PS5 VR headset. It's a lot still, isn't it? So what, 250, isn't it? For that?
Oh, the PSVR 2 is 500 smackers.
500.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
And that's like, again, the cost of the PS. So you're looking at spending like £1,000 just to get the kit before you even start buying games. It's just, I mean, I've got the PS5 now, but I'll spread it out. I would like to at some point get the VR, but yeah, £500. It's just hard to justify that on the splurge, isn't it?
Poor Tao.
Poor Tao. Yeah, it's an odd one. It's a real odd one. But there we go. Ryan, there, PS5 now $399. Is that the disc version or the digital version?
Yeah. It's got to be the digital, isn't it?
I still can't do it. I still can't.
It's good. I mean, I actually really like the PS5. I still stand by it. It looks dreadful. I don't know why they've designed it to look like that. Just give me a little box. I don't know why it's got the weird wings on it. It looks odd, but it's an excellent console. I really do enjoy playing on the PS5. It is very nice.
Interesting. Right. Let's move on to the next couple of topics that people have kind of suggested we talk about. Let's go with the slightly less controversial one first. Considering we are uncensored, we'll get to the controversy at the end. Controversy at the end is always fun. So,
Marathon Gaming Man, you have to get that out of the box. That is an excellent game.
That needs to be played on that. Now.
That needs to be played. Excellent game.
Ready for the new one. Jesus, get that Spider-Man.
Oh, dude. Yes.
Sorry to cut you off, Ollie. I saw that. I was like,
right.
no, I can't leave that. I can't let that stand. He's got Spider-Man. He's not playing it. Get it out of the box, Marathon. What are you doing?
Out the box, release the beast. Yes. So there's certain groups appear to be on a bit of a clamp down at the minute and only sort of allowing positivity within their groups and communities and all that kind of stuff, which on one hand I kind of I appreciate and understand what they're trying to do. Then the other part of me sort of goes, well, not everyone always agrees with everything, so it's always quite interesting. As long as people can be civil, and we know this is the internet, and no one's civil on the internet. Everyone just, says they've got a voice, therefore they have a right to say what they want, which is sort of true. But yeah, Facebook groups only allowing positive comments on things. How do people feel about that as an idea? We'll throw this out to the chat as well. We'll keep this as a ongoing sort of community chat about various groups only allowing positivity. Mr. Blunners, I'll let you kick this one off.
Only if Tim eats beans and toast. So no, I just out of my Facebook groups, I just want balance. I just want a balanced opinion. The thing is, you do get like certain people that are always negative, and you're going to get that in life. But when some things aren't working, and there's no reason why things aren't working, it needs to be. You need to like. I would rather want people to let me know than me thinking, because that was like we can like. First thing I had with the Evercade is I really wanted to play the latest one, the EXP. Mm-hmm. So I got myself one, and within an hour of it, the battery went and it stopped working. So I had to send it back, and it was like, and I was trying to hold off, waiting, because I'd known that these were sort of issues that people were having, and then if we had heard about it, I would have waited even longer. So that's why I'm waiting even longer now. So I'm going to wait even longer until I know that these ones are out of circulation, and then I'll maybe look at getting one. So I feel sometimes you need to have that, like, I would say it's not negative. I just think you need to have you just need to have honesty, really, because guess what? Some things aren't working for some people, or some things don't. They need to be like experience. And I feel if I'm in a Facebook group, 9 times out of 10, these people will know more about than what I will. Do you know what I mean? They'll know. It's good and sometimes I know things, and I would help others. So I can understand if someone's just saying this rubbish is a shit, blah 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 blah. I understand that. Get rid of it. If it's people just like trying to air grievances or try, then do you know what I mean? Yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean to chuckle there. There's just a chuckle. Barry, I was talking about Barry Chuckles. It just made me chuckle. I don't know why. I met Evan Neal backstage at a Wombles concert. I don't know why that's really tickled me. I don't know why. That's funny. Yeah, I think the key word that you've said a couple of times in that Blindness was balance. It's about being balanced, and negative doesn't always mean bad. It just like you say, it just brings balance to the force. You need the people that are hyper positive, you need some of the people that are slightly more negative, and then you've got plenty of people in the middle ground. Like, I think people overlook the middle ground. They seem to think that because something's just okay, that means it's terrible. It's like, well, no, there's plenty of okay video games, and there's plenty of okay software that people quite enjoy. So why I don't understand why people don't want to hear both sides of an argument. It's never nice to hear somebody disagree with something that you feel passionately about, and that goes for anything, whether that's movies, politics, religion, whatever it is. Having somebody disagree with something that you're passionate about, it sucks. But having somebody disagree with something that you're passionate about brings a new perspective to your own enjoyment. I personally find, anyway, brings a new perspective to my personal enjoyment, because it's interesting why I enjoy something and somebody else doesn't. So I don't think I would ever be totally happy with positive only in any of the groups that I'm in. I do know there was something that Rager put up there where there was someone who owned a group and they were just only negative, and I can see how that would that in its own right is almost the same as being only positive. Like it just totally overshadows everything else. So it's yeah. I mean, Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it depends on what the group is for, like how big it is and what it is. I think it's especially difficult if it's like a product, because if you've got a group that's about a product and people are posting stuff in there, I get that admins aren't going to want to have people complaining about it. Now I'm in a few groups for different like retro pie sort of things for and it's mostly troubleshooting. But there's occasionally you'll have like a really good topic of conversation going where people are talking about what games are on this particular device or what people recommend actually playing. But a lot of the time it's just, how do I sync this controller? Or, how do I do this? And I think a lot of groups, what they tend to do is then break it up and say, right, our Discord is going to be if you're stuck and you need help fixing something. And the Facebook group is just going to be, let's share enjoyment of it and things like that. So, yeah, I get it. But, yeah, it's hard to get right, I think. But I think it's best, like I say, it's best just to let people say, well, as we are in our Facebook group, we very rarely have blocked anything. Just let people put whatever they want, as long as it's loosely related to retro gaming. People just tend to put wherever they want. But I don't see any harm in that. Like, there's no harm done. Because again, at the end of the day, what's going to happen? Someone's going to read a post and then they're going to carry on scrolling and read the next post. It's not really going to make a huge impact in someone's life, really, is it? If someone's put a post about something in a retro gaming group that isn't retro gaming enough, or puts a negative comment about a product you're promoting or something. So, yeah, I think people need to chill a bit. It's only, sharing. That's it. It's like, I'll give you an example. I did so I recently went up to the wrestling, so there's All In for AEW and Sunday at Wembley Stadium, and I made a bit of a mistake in posting in a Facebook group about it to write my thoughts on the card. I did a bit of an article on it and I wrote all this stuff, and then the comments started coming at me a little bit, and I was like, some people were getting upset about it. I was like, I'm not a wrestling journalist, my opinion doesn't really matter, and you can just scroll past. It's just like, you don't need to get upset. This is just my view. And it wasn't like I was even that particularly negative, to be fair. I was being fairly positive, I thought. I was just kind of saying that it was being promoted as like their version of WrestleMania and like being like their flagship show. And I was saying that actually, although it looks like a very decent card, it feels like it's just a normal pay-per-view. It doesn't feel to me like they've hyped it up enough, because a lot of the matches were not announced until like a week before or 2 weeks before. So it felt like they just threw it all together at the last minute. Having been and seen the show, it was excellent. And I'm glad that it would actually beat my expectations. It was really good. But yeah, sharing views on the internet is not always safe if you don't want to get a tirade back.
No, I don't feel guilty if that's about the Team 17 cartridge issues. That's not a problem. That's if there's an issue, there's an issue. Like don't feel bad about that whatsoever at all. You do you, man. 100%. We, on the Total Evercade podcast, we're not always singing and dancing about it. We do talk about the things that don't work. And even when we had Sean, it was Sean, wasn't it, from Blaze on?
It was Sean.
Again, he addressed some of the slightly more negative aspects of things that have been happening. So don't feel guilty about that at all. If it's affecting you and it's something you want to talk about it. 100%. It just, like with anything, doesn't it? It doesn't matter what you say. There's always someone that has to come back and have a go. People can't just be civil or just kind of go, I see your point, I disagree, here's why I disagree, but keeping it friendly. Everyone's always got to just jump to the jugular immediately. And I think sort of something you touched on there, Tim, will eventually segue us into our next topic, which was about people just need to chill out. Like, there's a lot of people that have got way too much time and they really do need to chill out a little bit. But before we do that, I have to go back to Sneztastic's comment about two things that have divided the internet. What was it? You said something about two things that
let me find it for you. I've got it.
Yeah, let's bring it up, because one of them I am very passionate about. Okay, pump it up. Oh, let's go.
I clicked on it.
There we go. So two topics that have shone a light onto the problem with online discussion: Amico and UFOs. Interesting. I can see what you mean about Amico, because you got a camp of people that loved it and a camp of people that venomously hated it. There wasn't much room for middle ground on that. So I can see that. What's the one with UFOs? I'd be interested to know what you think would be the problem with the UFO bit.
I'm not sure what he's referring to there, but I know wasn't there a thing recently where there was a UFO someone saw by an airplane, they took a picture of it. There's like an article going around, which, you know, 100%. A UFO is obviously technically an unidentified flying object, which is what it was. We wouldn't know what it was. I think it then comes back to like what people think: is it a flying saucer kind of thing, or is it just like some experimental drone or something like that?
Like I've been saying for a very long time. I mean, we're talking decades now. Like I don't want to say I'm all in, but I am. I would bet money that some of the stuff we see is not. We were going well off topic of fucking video games now, man. Just for a very short period of time. Yes, your screen has
that. Let me I'm going to refresh my page. You carry
just on because he's got UFO in there.
Exactly. What is the government?
No, that's it. They're trying to silence me because I was about to reveal something they don't want to.
But yeah, it's something I've been interested in this topic for decades now, possibly 20 years maybe. And I think there is genuine evidence out there that would suggest that some things that are being filmed or captured or anything like that are not made on this planet. Believe as I was once, so US government are bullshitting them. I disagree, goes full of Miko. Okay, yeah, so I don't disagree that it could be bollocks. It absolutely could be bollocks. So for me, with the topic of this, and this could be maybe extrapolated to everything, because you've got to look at evidence. And when you look at evidence, you can't look at Mr. Crackpot on the internet. You've got to look at people whose opinion is actually worth listening to. Now, I know everyone's allowed an opinion, but people need to accept that not everyone's opinion on a topic is as valid as somebody else's. So,
I just want to interrupt very quickly. I know you're in the middle of it, but I keep seeing comments about ping pong. That's like the fourth thing someone sounds playing ping pong. Where's that? Like, I can't hear anything. Can you guys hear a ping pong ball or something?
No, not at all.
No, I don't know if it's from me. I think Brian and Dorbs and now Barry Chuckle have all said about who's playing ping pong, and I just wanted to address it because I'm like, what's going on with ping pong balls?
No ping pong.
But no, we'll carry on. I don't know. I just caught me off guard. Carry on.
Yes, no, I'll keep it short because then we can jump onto our last topic, which is probably going to be a bit fiery. Yes, so that idea that people's opinion that are worth listening to are people like fighter pilots, people that fly airplanes and fighter jets for a living, who put their lives on the line, who see things every day, whether that's actual planes or other stuff. So you've got to, yes, exactly. You've got to take what they say into account, because for me, they've got way more insight into what isn't in our skies. If you've got scientists, people I just
heard like someone hitting a ping pong ball.
Did you?
Yeah.
How weird.
There you go. Listen really quietly. I can hear it. So it's not a very fast rally on this ping pong game. But I definitely heard a little. This is the most boring part of the stream. Don't clip this and put it as a TikTok.
No. Sorry.
Can't hear it now.
You're all hearing something. Anyway, I'll wrap it up super quick. So yeah, fighter pilots, scientists, people that understand the science of propulsion, that understand the science of way things move. Those are the people that I would listen to. And those are the people that are now coming forward and saying, this ain't us. And it is behaving intelligently. So if something's not us and it behaves intelligently, that leaves a handful of other options. And those other options are an adversary or another country has developed technology that is far beyond anyone's understanding. Bob Lazar I completely agree. Bob Lazar, I believe, is also very truthful. And a lot of what he has said has been proven as scientific fact now as well, which is kind of scary.
I was saying the same sort of subject. Sorry, say Blunders? What's that?
Was it element 115 he was on about?
Element 115, yep, which is now on the periodic table. Wasn't on the periodic table in the 80s when he came forward and said, this is the element, this is the thing that is fueling these UFO propulsion systems. And he described it, and it's now, they found element 115. We can't stabilize it because it's an unstable element, but it exists. And this is someone 25 years ago was saying, this is a thing. And yeah, a lot of what Bob Lazar said to be true. Man, we could go off on a real tangent for this.
I was just going to say this one bit, and we will will move on because this is very far from retro gaming now, isn't it? But
Oh,
so
yeah,
thanks, Fantastic, for throwing this out there. She was like, "Oh, aliens!" As a kid, I used to absolutely love X-Files and stuff. So I was well into like any UFO sightings, things like that. But I did find once we got to the point in time where we all have an HD camera in our pocket and we've all got cameras, I didn't see anywhere near as much like alien and UFO stuff online on Twitter. So if someone actually did, was about to be abducted by an alien, you can just get your phone out and start filming it, right, and go live. I just don't really see that. So I think a lot of the stuff we used to see posted about, back in the 90s, those blurry pictures and things, I think it was just trendy at the time. Do you know what I mean? It was cool to believe in aliens and see things, and anything blurry in the sky was like, oh, it must be aliens. I think it's kind of it's been a while since UFO stuff's been a hot topic, so it's interesting to me. It's been a while since there's been a lot of talking.
They're having open congressional hearings now with actual members of Congress, not just weird people from Congress. You're talking like
I watched all of that.
It's absolutely fascinating. We'll have to do a completely random discussion on aliens. If anyone is interested and wants to, it's something I can talk about for a very long time.
Let's get some other people on. Get some guests in. Yeah.
If people are up for that, let us know in the comment in the chat. Do you want us to do a UFO special?
Yeah,
absolutely.
John, I want to come back to the other thing you mentioned, which is retro gaming. You talked about the Amico, and just the reactions you got from people. So that's the most fascinating thing I found about the whole Amico situation when we were looking at it and seeing comments. I was in a few Amico groups and I was watching comments and stuff, and it was so polarizing. Like there's some people that could not wait for this thing to come out, were super excited and thought it was going to be absolutely brilliant, and other people that were really angry about it, and they were, even if someone just said this showed interest, like, oh yeah, it looks interesting, they would like to start having a go at you just for showing interest in it. So you don't have to like it. Like, I'm not saying you have to go and buy it, but other people are excited about it. But they were getting quite leery quite quickly. Like, the more I've seen on it, the more I kind of understand if there's people that invested money in it and they've been, feel like they've been cheated and stuff and scammed and that sort of thing. So I get it, but the hostility towards fans, I didn't get. So you can have hostility towards the people that are behind it, but having hostility towards like just someone who's a fan of the product, like I don't get that. Yeah, very polarizing situation.
Yeah, I'm just a bit gutted about it because they said I wanted it to come out, and the fact that they've released like unboxing videos, and that was like a year and a bit ago. Like, where is it? Like, you think they're saying people have put down their money. People have bought. You can still buy the games. You can buy the games.
I feel sorry for anyone that bought those games. Yeah. I think I saw Christmas people are posting on there. They bought these games. They're like, oh, can't wait to play them. Yeah.
Can we set up just purely because I don't want to put my own money down? I donate money, but I'm not forking out however much it is to buy an Amico game. Someone in the chat, look up how much the Amico games are still selling for.
You can't. Yeah, I think it's about 60 quid. I think it's about 60 quid for 4. And I think you can't buy individually. You can't buy them individually. So you can either get 1 pack of this for, 1 pack of that for, or all 8 of them for like 100 and something quid.
Okay, I think in order to do it properly, we'd have to get all 8. Would anyone be interested if we could get people to donate like the maximum, say, I don't know, like a £5 or something like that, get hold of these games and see if we can, because we've said this so many times on streams, but I might try and put my money where my mouth is next time, see if people would be willing to donate even like a quid or something to get hold of these games and get someone like Rhaegar, who's in the chat, to try and do this.
They could join our RGR community for £1, which is in the link in the bio.
Everyone get on that RGR community for a quid. Sponsor the channel for a month. What I would love to do is get one of those cards over to Rhaegar, see whether or not there's actually a game on it, because I'm 50-50 as to whether or not there's anything on that card or whether it's just a bit of plastic. It would be super interesting. Yes, Scott, absolutely. That the documentary that Slopes did was actually a very good watch. It's a very long watch, but it's a very, very good watch. Yeah, interesting. It'd be really interesting. It's again, that's something else that we could do like an entire stream on. I think I think we've gone that far without talking about Amico that it could be interesting to do another one. It'd be interesting to get SNEStastic on that one actually, because I know we'll chat Pete offline. We'll chat.
Yeah, the fact that you see Pete like this, he was like the one person who we spoke to at the time, and he kind of changed our thoughts on it. And
he put us into the interest.
Him saying this now, if he's saying this to me, it's fucked. Like, because he was the one, he was the one guy that was like, he was on it. Like, and for him to be pissed off with how it's been handled, that's mad. Like,
I saw another documentary one, and I can't remember who it was that did it, but I watched a video that someone shared with me, and it was mostly about, rather than being about the Amico, is more sort of about Tommy. And some of the stuff that he'd like been quoted saying and things like that. And the thing I frustrated, because he came on and spoke to us, and he spoke to a few people we know, and he's very generous with his time. I'm very happy to talk to people, but I think he just says a lot of stuff that just isn't true. And I often don't get why, because he'll say things like how many games he's worked on or different things he's done, and he's done impressive things, but then he elaborates and he kind of exaggerates some of these things to say there's more. It's like, but I don't see why he feels the need to adds different things onto his accolades that he has actually got. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think some of the world records he's got, they're not quite what when he quotes it, he's quoting something slightly different to what he's actually got. So he's got a world record for the most people at a live orchestra playing game music. But he'll say, I have the world record for the most people attending a live orchestra, which is a different world record. And it's like, well, you still achieve something really cool and people are happy that you've done that. Why then say, oh, I got this? When you didn't. It was again, it's on one of these videos, and I just found it very interesting to kind of go down that rabbit hole. Was it that BH Mono guy? I don't know. I'll have to go and have a look because I can't remember who it was now. It's just a link that someone shared with me, and I watched it, and it was it was really interesting to kind of go down that rabbit hole. It's like he said he was on MTV Cribs.
I think that's Tim's chair.
But is it me? Is my chair creaking? Yeah, it is. That's my chair. Ping pong and balls and chairs. Yeah. Yeah. I think they just embellished the truth. Maybe. Yeah, he said he was on MTV Cribs a lot, didn't he? He said that to us, but he wasn't, because like you can check. You can go online and look. You can see like who's been on MTV Cribs. He's not on the list. He was on a mock-up MTV Cribs that was for this website. So he still did it. It just wasn't the MTV Cribs. It was like a fake Cribs. Anyway,
interesting. I'd be interested to see whether or not there's an interesting idea here to talk about Amico. It's been long enough, I think, where we could do something with that. I think some sort of Amico stream.
I'm sure didn't Dorbs put that thing in the chat the other day?
Are they still up for sale?
Amico games.
Can you still buy them?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we can, you can buy them.
I'd be interested. I really would. Yeah, I'd be interested. I really, really would. Because do you know what? The more we're talking, the more I would bet money. I would bet money that those.
I reckon
cards.
Oh, hang on. So it's $80. $80 there, look, for a pack of 4.
For 4.
Or you get the bundle of 8 for $150.
Jesus.
Wow. I just went and checked. Like so the guy that SNEStastic mentioned, where is it? Yeah, this one. Yes, it is that one that I saw. I just checked, and that's the video that I watched. It was quite interesting because he kind of starts off looking into one thing, and he just goes down a bit of a rabbit hole, and he carries on looking at stuff, and he just keeps on finding all this stuff out. Worth looking up, actually.
We need £1 from 60 people, and then we can then do this test.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll have a think about how we could actually do it, because I think it would be really interesting, and it would be a really strange. Mate, it would be such a strange video, right? And I reckon, I don't know. There's a big part of me that reckons that that's true. I reckon it's a bit of plastic. Probably shouldn't say this publicly. Tommy asked me a video call months back. Love to quit YouTube. Oh wow, okay. So he didn't want to have a call as soon as you said you quit YouTube. Wow, that says a lot. Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean,
I'm going to be blown away if this thing comes out. We'll be doing another stream saying we're wrong. It's out. You can go get your Amico.
It's
it was all fantastic, honest.
Yeah, he was all iron.
Yeah.
Okay. this is going to move us quite swiftly on because I know we've just breached the hour mark. But hey, what? It's uncensored. Who cares? This is going to segue us. This is going to segue us quite nicely onto the last topic that people have asked us to talk about. This is something we've addressed maybe once or twice. And we've always said we weren't going to talk about it too much. So we're still not going to necessarily name names and whatnot. But people have asked us because it still seems to be very, very prevalent. So that topic is the toxic YouTube community. You use the word community very, very loosely with this idea. So we had... What did we have? We had a stream a couple of weeks ago. Was it the Total Overk podcast? I can't remember. Was it a week ago?
Yeah, last Monday.
And we had a troll channel pop up in the chat, which hasn't happened for a little while. Normally it'd be Russian bots trying to spam us with, naked ladies and pole dancers. But this time we had a troll chat for a friend of the channel's, and they just decided to be really nasty for no real reason. We're not affiliated with that particular channel. It's just a friend of the channel. We get on extremely well with the people that own said channel, and we checked out what that channel was all about, and this particular channel had set up videos. It's got bugger all subscribers on it. I'm not going to name the channel because why do you want to go and give them airtime? But yeah, they actually had set up videos, which was just a collection of clips from the said YouTuber's real channel, as a way to kind of like mock them and troll them a little bit. And then one of the videos had pictures of their wedding and their honeymoon on it, and you're like,
man,
it's just a bit much, really. Like we're just a bunch of middle-aged guys, middle-aged girls, middle-aged theys, everything else in between, who just talk about retro games. And somewhere in that, there's people that have got that much time on their hands that they can dedicate what little time we have on this planet to doing that. If you think it's funny, it's probably not. There might be one or two people that chuckle along with you, but the amount of effort that it takes to make one of these videos and make one of these channels, I can't say that that's worth the effort for two people to have a chuckle along with you. It's just a bit weird. I don't quite understand why middle-aged people are doing this. Obviously, I'm generalizing. I'm presuming it's somebody middle-aged, but
it's the space as well. It's like what we're talking about. We're talking about quite small YouTube channels, really, because we're not a big YouTube channel. We're not a big deal. We're not making money off of YouTube. This isn't our full-time job. We all have full-time jobs and families and stuff. We just do this because it's fun. That's why we're doing it. We just enjoy doing it. And if owners like the channel, they don't have to watch. They can move on with their lives. But to actively go out and effectively try and sabotage channels and make it so that people don't want to quit YouTube because of trolling and stuff, it's like, why spend the time doing it? I don't get the motivation of it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, why take the time on that?
I was just saying, the one thing that really pissed me off on it is that it said on there, yeah, glad we've got rid of him. We won. Ha ha. It's like, you fucking pricks. Do you know what I mean? What have you achieved? What have you achieved at the end of it? You've taken someone's, not just someone we like, but they're not on YouTube anymore because you've got twats like this. And it's not just about that, but it's about you're all for mental health, you're all for other people, and then you're doing something like that to someone else's mental health. It's fucking disgusting. And I just think it's really bad. And I just think, who do you think you are to be doing stuff like that to people? It's ridiculous. You wouldn't even have the bollocks to say it to their face. And
it's so easy to scroll past, isn't it?
Seriously, sort your shit out, isn't it? Yeah.
It's so easy just to scroll past and not say anything. And the thing that I find weird is like you mentioned earlier, it's the time it takes to make a channel and edit a video and spend time doing it. I don't know how many evenings they must have spent editing and making videos. So it's like a handful of subscribers, which is probably their mates. And it's like, how many people are watching that? 10 people watch it or something. And it's like, why spend the time? It's like it takes a while to edit a video as well. Like I've done a handful of videos for the channel, which is, you know, I've done a script and done a video and edited it together, and then like it gets a couple of hundred views or something. But I'm just like going through Mega Drive games or something. And again, it's like that's just a bit of fun. Why does it get fun like making a video slamming somebody? It's just, again, who's got the time? And
Exactly.
the other thing I was going to mention was like when we do get occasional comments in the chat. There's like, I think we've been told that we are they'd rather watch paint dry or they watch our channel to fall asleep and things like that. And it's like, okay. And the funny thing with those sorts of things is how little it bothers me that we have that. Because it's like, okay, we've got our channel that we do for fun. We all just do it sort of mates. We like playing games. I've got a full-time job. I've got a family. I've got other hobbies. And I actually want to spend time playing games as well as chatting about them. What window of time have I got in my day to give a shit about that? Do you know what I mean? It's like from when I wake up, I got to wake up and get my kids ready for school. I go to work, I eat my lunch, have a dinner, sit down, play games, talk to you. And then how much time am I going to sit there wallowing? I'm like, oh, a random person on the internet thinks we're boring. Don't care. So
Exactly.
it's just do something better with your time. Do something better with your time.
I appreciate the irony because we're talking about it now, and people go, "Oh, but you do care about it because you're talking about it." Well, it's a topic that people have asked us to talk about, so we're talking about it. So that's kind of what we like to do on the channel. Sometimes we'll talk about things that people want us to talk about because someone wants us to talk about it. I completely agree with everything that's been said. You know, just do what normal people do. When you don't like something, you're fully within your right to not like something. But when it's somebody else's maybe creative endeavor or somebody else's creative outlet, just maybe have those conversations in private like a normal person. You know, just, you know, it's like when someone at work turns up and, you know, they're doing something stupid, you just message your mate at work who, you know, understands your sense of humor. You take the piss and that's it. You don't actively go out and destroy that person because you disagree with something they're doing or you're jealous of them or whatever it is. It's absolutely pointless. And the key bit that you've said there as well, both of you, about mental health is, you know, it's such a big thing. And I don't think people realize maybe quite how much of an outlet some of this stuff can be. Certainly for me, doing this channel really does help me. You know, I said in our admin chat that I was going to, you know, throw an idea out live on the stream possibly because we were going to talk about this particular topic, and it's something that sort of sits with me quite a lot. You know, I've tried to be really open with where I'm currently at this year, which is a totally new thing for me. I don't talk about this kind of stuff, but I've decided that I'm going to, because clearly if I'm not, there's lots of other people that aren't. You know, I've suffered quite greatly with chronic depression for, you know, nearly 20 years, and I've never gotten myself medically sorted for it. I am now getting medically sorted for it. It's a bit of a trial and error. We're still in that trial and error period. But this channel generally helps me with that little bit of depression. It's a creative outlet. I've met some incredible people through this channel. I get to speak to you guys all the time, and it's great fun. You know, even when we disagree, it's great fun. And, you know, so in my head, I'm thinking, well, what if someone decides that they don't like something we've done for some stupid reason, and then decides that they're going to try and troll us and you know, sabotage our account and get us kicked off YouTube? Like, that would absolutely cripple a very small thing that actually brings me an incredible amount of joy. And, you know, I can't understand why someone would do that. And it's this presumption that everybody has, that everybody's fine about this sort of stuff. And it's just, why? What's the point? Especially for channels that are really pro mental health and, you know, pro all these different things. And yet there are still channels out there that just actively go that extra mile to make things obnoxious for people. Like, just be a normal person, complain about it with your mates, and just get over it. You know, we had a person join the different comment sections of one of our videos pretending to be somebody else's cousin, and you're like, all right.
Yeah,
I mean, if that's
It does get a bit weird, doesn't it? It is weird.
If you really know that person, like, fine. And then that person who was, they were saying they were the cousin of, came on and was like, look, I have no idea who this person is. It's all just, I have no idea what's going on there. It's not affiliated to me. And then it stopped immediately. And it's now started up again.
Do you know the thing that was the most funny thing about that? I just thought, when they put comments, this person, so I'm not going to name any names or anything, but this person called me last night to talk about how boring your channel is. And I was like, that's what you did. It's like, I watched a movie. I went out to the cinema and watched a film and then went out for dinner. Like, you called your cousin and talked about a small YouTube channel that you don't like watching. Like, what a boring way to spend your time.
Exactly.
I just think it's funny.
Yeah, there's so many things you could be doing with your time. Even just little things like seeing your actual mates or going to the pub, playing a video game. And that's just the small things. The bigger things you could be doing is you could be making your channel better. If you think all that effort that you put into trolling somebody off of YouTube for no real reason other than what must be jealousy, imagine if you put that effort into your own channel. Like, maybe things would be moving better for you. Maybe you just have more fun. I don't know.
The other thing I think about as well is, like, obviously we're talking about YouTube and stuff. It kind of happens everywhere. But I think if you've got somebody that, let's say someone who's an artist, they want to do drawing, and they've never put their drawings up on the internet. One day they go, you know what, I think this drawing is good enough to actually post on Instagram or something. And then you get troll comments, people telling them that they're bad at drawing, things like that, and discourages them. And then they put down their pens and pencils and don't draw anymore. That's like, there's no need for that. It's like, and actually, being good at something is not a requirement for enjoying it. It doesn't matter if you think their drawing is good. They've enjoyed drawing it and they've shared it with people. If you don't like it, just scroll past it. You don't have to follow that person's account if you don't like the content they're putting out. But
exactly.
Yeah, I'll steal a phrase from a friend of mine. It's don't yuck someone else's yum. If there's something that you don't like, that's fine, but it doesn't stop anyone else from enjoying it. Just let people enjoy their things.
Exactly.
And it's one thing that comes up with me a lot, because I like a few things that now are fairly popular things, but I was into geek culture stuff before it was cool. So I used to get a bit of hate for liking wrestling or liking comic books or even liking computer games. Like, it's cool to like those things now, maybe not wrestling, but to get people get funny about liking wrestling and things like that. It's like, well, why does it matter? And a lot of people come to me with the same thing. It's like saying, because I don't like football. It's like, yeah, but I appreciate football. If somebody wants to enjoy football, I'm not going to be like, I hope the football's rubbish. I hope you don't enjoy it. No, because it's like, no, you go and enjoy that football. I'd rather do something else with my time, but you go enjoy that football game.
Yeah,
I just find it a bit odd when you're bringing in people's family members and pictures of their weddings and stuff. I just think you've crossed the line there. And
I didn't even see that one. I've seen earlier ones. I think I saw one video and I knew what it was about. I was like, I haven't even bothered giving the time to watch it because I've got better things to do. But I never got that far.
Yeah. And that's not necessarily saying that everything has to be, sunshine and roses. If somebody's made a video on something that you don't agree with or you disagree with, by all means, disagree with it in the comments like a normal person, as long as you're respectful of everything, then you can have a discussion about it. But yeah, I doubt we'll probably talk about this again, to be honest, because it's something that happens. And is it going to change? No, probably not. The people that are doing it will still keep doing it, and those people will still be the ones that at the end of the day, could be doing other things. There's just so much more that you could be doing in life rather than dedicating yourselves to being a knob, unless you like being a knob. If being a knob's your hobby, then wow, it's a pretty crap hobby. Who knows? Who cares? Who cares? Exactly. We did have 2 starred questions. I'm sure we can smash those out very, very quickly. And thank you everyone for all your comments this evening. It's been really, really busy. Wonderful to see a few people drop in there. Wonderful to see Jem popping in as well. Yes, exactly, Riga. We do miss Dorbs. We want Dorbs to come back. We'll get him back. Don't worry. We will entice him back with something.
I think at this point we're going to have to start paying him because he wanted to be paid to vote for Gamer of the Month. They're not getting YouTuber of the Month, didn't he?
Shocker!
Can't get him out of the house unless it's VIP treatment.
Exactly.
It needs to be VIP. We'll get you a lanyard. How's that? We'll get you a lanyard that says VIP for you.
Yeah.
Come on.
Excellent. So, 2-star questions. One from Mr. Rob Taylor. And that is, panel, anyone heard the rumors about the PS5 subscription going up? Not sure if it's just in the USA. I have heard the rumors that the PS5 subscription is going up. Everything's kind of going up at the moment. So I was kind of anticipating it. I don't mind paying a little bit more for PS Plus because I get a lot out of it. I don't go for the mega one. I just go for the cheapest one because I just wouldn't ever play a game for more than 10 minutes if I had access to that entire library. So yeah, I've heard rumors. I've not seen it in the UK yet, but
I think Xbox Game Pass has just gone up, hasn't it? That went up last month, so that's just gone up.
What's it gone up to?
What, PS5 one? I've not seen anything for PS5. The Xbox one went up from, is it $10.99 to $12.99? I think. So it's gone up by like £2 a month. I
mean, yeah, a couple of quid. You can afford. Most people can afford a couple of quid increase on something that brings you that much entertainment. You know, it's like when Netflix say, "Oh, I'm increasing it by a quid." You're like, "All right, whatever." Like, I'm still going to pay it. I get enough enjoyment out of it. So yeah, so for Game Pass to go up £2 a month, like that's still a crazy deal. So yeah, but yeah, not too sure, Mr. Taylor, whether or not that's absolutely happening. But I'd pay an extra £1 a month, no problem.
I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen. I would expect that it will.
Yeah. Okay, next and last question from Mr. Pete's Nestastic. Oh, it's got the word Amico in it. Question for the panel. Amico died. Would you trust anyone with a new console idea now, or would you wait and see? I still would trust people with a new system. We talked earlier about the Atari 2600 Plus that's coming out. I know that's Atari, but Atari and Television, they were both big-ish companies at one point. So the fact that Atari are going to bring out new hardware, like it's clearly going to happen. Evercade, Blaze occasionally bring out a new system. All right, it gets delayed a little bit, but it eventually does pop out. So that's still happening. So I would still trust companies. I would maybe not trust companies quite so much. I mean, I know Blaze is an exception if you order from Funstock, but I maybe wouldn't trust things if you had to pay for it up front. That would be my red flag.
I think like Kickstarter and stuff's good, isn't it? You don't actually pay unless the project's successful.
Yep, 100%. That in its own right is absolutely fine. Kickstart my project. I would like money to help build something. Totally fine with that. No worries whatsoever. I would still, I'd still trust companies with a new console. Yeah, why not? But, it would depend. It'd have to be something good though. And at this point, I think everything's
the other way.
You're the other way.
I would like to see it in action now. Unless it's not like the big hitters, then if it's someone else coming in with something, I want to see it in action now. After
it's the weird.
Obviously, I've just been burnt so many times of stuff I've been buying that just turns out to be shit and it's just not working. And do you know what I mean? I want to see it fully working. Make sure then like stuff's ironed out. I'm even worried about jumping in early as well on like the next Xbox or whatever. Just because obviously the 360 had red ringed. I had 2 red ring. I had 1 red ring just before the GTA came out, so I had to go and buy a whole new system because there was no way I was not playing that game. So it was like, tried everything, and like, you do worry about when it comes to regards to like a completely different company, like he's regarding the Amico and the system like that. I think now, like you said, the red flag is we want the money up front, which Blaze do as well with things. For me, I need to see it working firsthand before I jump in.
Okay, interesting. Mixed bag from us there regarding that then. So, there's still some trust, some not so much trust. It's interesting.
So I keep coming back to the Amico. We can't sort of get away from it. I just think it's weird. They did have something, right? Because there was events they went to where people played on it, and they showed like people reacting to having had a go on it, Or are we saying they were paid actors? They didn't play on something, or what?
They
We need to do
played.
this, by the way. Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Bring back a retro episode of Retro Game Revival. Bring back What's in the Box and get back It's Much More, the first ever guest. Yes, 100%. Let's do this.
Good idea.
Let's do this. Yes. So people played an Amico game with an Amico controller. I think there was a lot of skepticism about whether it was running on an Amico or running on a PC, because there was a lot of PCs and computers around where these systems were. So I think a lot of the games were played using the Amico controller, but maybe Bluetoothed to a PC rather than an actual Amico console, I think is what happened. It's weird. It's kind of like that Coleco Chameleon that sort of did the rounds, and that was a weird thing as well. I don't know. The whole thing's just odd. I still think we need to do a new stream about Amico. I feel like enough time has passed where there's things to talk about.
Officially, like closed down.
Died. No, it hasn't. No,
it's not officially died. I think everyone, even if there's Tastic is gone, this thing's died. Yeah. If even like say, even if there's Tastic saying this thing's died, it is. But why have they not announced that they've gone bankrupt yet or something? It's just weird. It feels like it's still lingering around. Some people might still be hopeful.
Well, yeah, there's definitely some hopeful people, but I think you're going to be hoping for a long time.
Archery Olympic esports event. What's that? That sounds shooting drones. What was it?
Archery Olympic esports.
Let us know a bit more about that. Let us know.
That sounds like you just have like your Wiimotes out, and
that was cool actually. I used to like that was on one of the Wii Sports Resort. I think had an archery. That was cool.
Yeah. You could get a bow and arrow periphery as well, where you kind of like would pull the string and let go, and you're like,
You get mad with the shot. I had a peripheral. I had a bunch of peripherals once because I was quite into like doing that with the Nintendo stuff. And I'd like these tennis rackets. So a friend of mine for my birthday bought me like a tennis game and these tennis rackets. I've got it. It was annoying because you put the Wii Wand in this tennis racket holder with like a paddle on the front. But in the game we had, in the menu screen, you had to keep on pointing the wand at the screen to select options. But you couldn't do that with a paddle on it because it blocks the sensor. And every time we had to keep on constantly taking the controller in and out of this plastic thing. We got rid of it because it's just...
Shocking.
Coming, yeah.
Okie dokie, chaps. Well, we're almost into the 1 hour 30 territory. We're going real old school tonight, and we've breached an hour. It's been a lot of fun. There's been lots of fun things to talk about, lots of silly things to talk about, aired a bit of frustration. It feels a bit like therapy, right? I like it.
We'll have to come back for a UFO stream and a Amico stream at some point.
Yes.
And a retro classic
and an
original old school stream. We've got loads of ideas coming out now.
Wait.
Set up.
Hang on, have we still got it? We still got What's in the Box? Was it
oh yeah, we're still on now. I saw it earlier.
Anyone
it's on there.
Yeah, you ready? Are you?
What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
There we go.
Yes, there's a little
since you had that one.
There's a dose of nostalgia for you. Okay, so we will be back Monday with the Total Evercade podcast. We do have some other streams coming. I know we said that a little while back, but like I say, a few things have had to take a back seat whilst summer holidays have kicked in. And all the other stuff that's happened on. I've not been particularly well, so yeah, we're getting back on it. We're slowly getting back on it. We do have a couple of streams we're looking to get going. Laser Eyes, I'm sure we can end with Laser Eyes.
Right, yeah, we'll end with Laser Eyes. I've got it queued up.
End with Laser Eyes. So yes, we do have the first episode of Consultation Zone coming very, very soon. We do have our UFO stream that people seem to think would be a good idea. It's nothing retro gaming related whatsoever, but I'm sure we can make an exception for that. Potentially look at doing an Amico stream. Pete's Nestastic
Amico special release.
Yes, would you be up for coming back on Mr. Snestastic to do an up-to-date Amico stuff? We can cover all kinds of weird stuff. It'd be great fun. Yeah, we've got a lot of things coming. So yeah, we will definitely see you all very soon.
Yes, we also need to meet up with Riga in VR at some point. For any of us that have got VR headsets to go on his Friday Night Madness, one of his other shows that he does.
Right, and just for Ryan, before we go, because we'll have to play the outro to get the end broadcast thing working nicely. So, Ryan, this is for you.
There we go. Still got the fire behind me.
Laser eyes. There we go. Thank you everyone for joining live. It's been a lot of fun. The chat's been very, very enjoyable this evening. Thank you all for your comments, participation, and all that good stuff. If by some weird way you found this channel through the YouTube multiverse and you've enjoyed our madness, please do click on some other videos and see what else we offer. Please do hit that thumbs up button just to let us know that you've been here. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button because that helps us out a huge amount. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, chaps. A lot of fun. So yeah, just thank you everybody, and we will see you next time. So good evening.